Hello everyone and welcome back to RL Talk. Today we are going to be previewing this first Spring Split Regional for Sub-Saharan Africa, Asia Pacific South, South America and Europe. Personally, what my best way of doing this is we're going to start from the bottom, so Sub-Saharan Africa, then APAC North, then South America and then Europe, getting the more interesting regions, saving them till the end. So, starting off in Sub-Saharan Africa, obviously most of these players are from South Africa, which is quite interesting actually. Apart from one team which is fully French, so they are living in Sub-Saharan Africa. But apart from that, pretty much everyone is South African, which is really interesting to see because that shows that the region and the country has a lot of places to develop. And obviously, I know that they were in the Intel Rocket League Championship and would have gone to the Olympics, which is really cool. Anyway, let's get on with this because I have spoken too much already. So, what do I expect from this weekend's regional? Well, obviously, I expect Orlando Pirates to run away with this. Honestly, they do it every single regional almost. They're probably the best team in the African region, let alone Middle East. I mean, that's a different region, but Africa, I'd probably have it put down as Orlando Pirates, followed closely by Bravado Gaming as well as ATK and DMK Esports. They are very good teams as well. I feel like they're very close up there, and they have very good potential with each other. They have they are they could really fight for that wildcard spot into the Worlds, and I feel like any of them could genuinely take down some of these teams in Worlds if they improve and they actually play well and they build their experience. But I feel like this season they're going to be struggling a bit, even when they get to Worlds. That it'll be interesting to see how they develop for next season. Obviously, I know that Sub-Saharan Africa probably have the lowest average rank of all pro teams, but I still don't feel that's like anything to take away from them. They are very solid players in their own respective rights, and despite the fact that Orlando Pirates constantly just destroy the region, there's a very good region, and it's still quite competitive between the top 2 to 6. Honestly, as I say, I expect Orlando Pirates just to run away with this one. I mean, ATK and DMK, I also expect them to be quite close behind, but I feel like they're going to meet in the lower final, and then we're going to have a final of maybe ATK or Bravado Gaming versus Orlando Pirates, despite the fact that Bravado Gaming will have to run into ATK, DMK, and Apes X, sorry. I can't pronounce that. It's really hard to pronounce. Yeah, they all run into each other, which is really interesting because second, third, fourth, and fifth are all on the same side of the brackets. That would be really interesting to see. I think that it will lead to some great competition, especially between those 4 teams, because they are some of the top teams apart from Orlando Pirates in the region, and they are really competitive with each other. So it'll be interesting to see how it develops. Obviously, some of those lower teams are still there. They still could cause an upset. People like Digital Devils, Ice Esports. These teams that are fairly new, they could, they could cause an upset, but I'm not seeing it likely at the moment. So moving over to APAC North with our good friends Detonator and Tokyo Verde, the two teams from APAC, that we have actually seen at Worlds so far. Again, with Tokyo Verde, I feel they are quite the team, just like Orlando Pirates. I do kind of expect them to run away with this, as well as people like Falcon Esports in MENA. There are definitely some of the minor regions where there are just set teams that are like top 2, top 3, almost every single regional, and I feel like that is Tokyo Verde and Detonator. I also feel like there's a chance of seeing Agalites also making a very good run. But I feel that top three will really be their best chance. I think third will be their peak. I don't see them making finals this regional round, as Tokyo Verde and Detonator have been known to get off to very quick starts at the start of a split before these other teams get used to it and the new playstyles, especially with some of the transfers that we've seen this trade window. Hilltop Picnic have honestly got really unlucky with their draw. They had to play Tokyo Verde in the second round, so maybe we'll see an upset there, but it's unlikely. What I'm really looking to see is a Detonator and Tokyo Verde grand final as well as upper bracket final. If I don't see that, that'll be a big shock to me, and I feel like it'll be a bit of a disappointment for those teams, or one of those teams that haven't made it. Even if Agalite pull off a underdog win against Detonator to make it to the upper final, I don't really see it happening, and I would be a bit disappointed and upset if I didn't see those teams in the grand finals battling it out. Overall, though, I do think that Tokyo Verde will have the card over Detonator. I feel like Detonator might have a bit of a shattered confidence coming out of that major performance. It wasn't the best that they could have had. So we'll have to wait and see. But yeah, that's what I think. I think Tokyo Verde take this one, followed closely by Detonator, and then Agalite and Hilltop Picnic. So now over to our good friends in South America. We're looking at the boys of Lotus. Lotus make a return to the South American region, which I am really excited about. I really loved these guys as a roster before, and it was so nice to see them, especially now that Renan is back with Firefox and Habercamper. I mean, this was one of the original rosters at the start in 2019, so this is really good to see. It's great to see. Really like it. Firefox has come back from Chromax, come back to Lotus, and I really look forward to seeing how these guys do. They were one of the top teams at the time before they got picked up by Advidity and Vegas Inferno in South America. Obviously, people like Team Secret and SAC, which was X-Era Eternity, have come along and also put themselves firmly at the top, as well as Furia. They've always been around there. But I'm really looking forward to seeing these guys playing back together, and I expect big things from them. I expect a top 3 finish at the least. And even if you say, "Wow, don't know about that one," that's a bit, bit of a overestimation. I don't think it is. I think that's respectable. I think it's achievable. Anyway, moving down on the region, obviously we've got the return of True Neutral, Halls, Ruby, a typical Novus AV. They make their return with Tanda and Royals. Elevate, they are some of the teams that have constantly been qualifying through open qualifiers for the South American regionals. Endgame still around, so is Crew Esports. That will be really interesting to see as Crew actually plays Elevate and Endgame plays True Neutral in the first round, as well as Lotus, who plays Halls, as well as then SAC versus Novus AV, meaning that I'm expecting to see SAC versus Lotus in the upper bracket quarterfinals, third versus fourth. That'll be interesting to see. In summary, or overall, sorry, I think that Furia again will have quite a easy run to the upper bracket final. I mean, they are literally the top seed by about 3-4 seeds in their other bracket. I think once again, just like the other two regions, second, third, fourth, and fifth are all in the lower half of the upper bracket, if that makes sense. Obviously, it's divided into 2 halves of 8 teams, but they obviously meet in the upper bracket final. Second, third, fourth, and fifth seed are all in that lower half of the upper bracket. So first, as I say, Furia, if they don't make grand finals, I'll be really disappointed in them. That'll be if they don't make grand finals, that's really disappointing, and I think they need to have a really long, hard look at themselves if they didn't. In the lower half, I think Team Secret and SAC come out to play each other in the lower bracket, in the upper bracket semi-finals, and then Team Secret just about make it through to the finals with Furia, Secret, SAC, and Lotus being the top four. In that order, in personally in that order is what I feel that this regional will finish. Uh, Things to look out for. Personally, I would say Crew Esports could have a 5th to 6th finish. That would be a bit of a surprise to me. Maybe a typical as well. Novus AV. Halls, they've been good before. They're returning back to South America with one of the ex-players that they used to have, Klaus. That would be really good to see. OG roster returning back to the region and as a team. Novus AV could throw up an upset. I mean, they have come through open qualifiers, but at the end of the day, a lot of people come through open qualifiers. ACRU came through and they finished 7th to 8th in NA. So yeah, I'd really look out for them and see what they're going to bring to the table. As well as that, a typical could bring an upset. Endgame as well. Really, it's quite a good region outside of the top four. I feel like it's quite close. I feel like there's a bit of a divide between the top four and the rest, but that gap is slowly being closed, and that's really nice to see because it's helping South America become a more competitive region between the teams, and that will help them at LAN because then they can get the best teams into LAN with the most competitiveness to try and take down these teams. Obviously, underperformed so far at the majors against everyone else compared to someone like Falcons and from Mina. So I'll be looking forward to seeing them hopefully at the major bring some fight and some of the best teams that they possibly can. So over to EU for our final region of the episode. We've got not Cloud9. Not yet, at least. Maybe they will be, but they're not at the moment. I'm expecting from them an org announcement at some point. I mean, come on, someone pick these guys up. We got KCP, not KCP, Carmine Corp, Semper, Dignitas, Endpoint, Vitality, Misfits, BDS, Luminosity, SK, Liquid, Geniuses. Possibly the most stacked region in RSCS currently. Obviously, BDS will play Vitality if they both make it through into the upper bracket semi-final. That will be interesting to see. Luminosity Gaming once again getting absolutely shafted with their draw, having to play the BDS second round if they make it past SK Gaming the first time. Dignitas versus Endpoint will be a really interesting match to see in the upper bracket quarterfinals because I expect both of them to make it through. If they don't, then those teams will have to look at a real hard look at themselves if they don't make it past SAR and Wild. Evil Geniuses and Team Liquid, that one will be a close one. I think Team Liquid will come out on top of that one with their new roster of a Chronic and a 2 and Oski. That'll be interesting to see how they pair out. Misfits Gaming return after a bit of a hiatus. That'll be good. Wolves Esports return as well. SK, Luminosity. Looking at BDS to try and stamp their authority on this region. It will be really interesting to see if they can put themselves back in the front running for Worlds and get themselves at the top of the point standing, or if Queso will catch up to them. And so I think that Queso will be meeting BDS or Vitality in the upper bracket final. Could be Dignitas instead of Queso, but I feel like Queso has it over on them. I'm expecting Dignitas to make a top 4 appearance, as well as Endpoint and BDS with Queso. I think Vitality will just fall short in 5th to 6th. Possibly alongside Semper in 56th. Team that I would look out for personally would be Misfits Gaming and Team Liquid. New rosters, or some of them are new to the teams. That would be really interesting to see. I think that they have really great potential in those teams, and I'm looking forward to seeing the organizations return to the form that they had prior to their slight fall from grace over the past couple months. Evil Geniuses, Luminosity Gaming, they could also throw up an upset in the BS competition. Carmine Corp. There's a lot of high contention here. Very competitive region, of course. It's been around for 12 seasons now. It's one of the OG ones alongside NA, and it's very competitive, and it's only going to get better from here. I would really look forward to seeing a new roster at the major in London. Someone like Misfits, maybe Luminosity, maybe seeing Vitality turn up at the major. That would be really cool to see, along with their new signing of Radisson, obviously putting Ferry Peak in the bench, as well as Team BDS. Obviously, they put Mark by 8 on the bench, replaced him with Psycho. Endpoint bringing in Archie. Semper bringing in Exotic. I mean, this region has had roster mania, if you ask me. It'll be really interesting to see if people can get revenge on their ex-teams and see how people do perform. But yeah, that's it for this episode. As I said yesterday in the last episode, these episodes will be shorter until I am done with my... And yeah, till next time, guys, I will see you later.